Nigeria.
Thank you for staying with us. My case, the harvest of anger in Nigeria. In recent times, Nigeria has witnessed an alarming surge in public display of anger amongst its citizens, whether at the airport, in the bustling market, on congested roads, or even within the confines of hotels. The frustration and discontent among the populace are palpable. This widespread irritability is not merely anecdotal. It reflects the deeper malaise affecting the psyche of a nation already grappling with numerous challenges. The roots of this anger are complex and multifaceted. Economic hardship, political instability, and societal inequalities have conspired to create a volatile environment where patience and tolerance seem to be in short supply. Many Nigerians have found themselves in a struggle for survival, grappling with rising cost of living, unemployment, and a perceived lack of accountability from those in power. A persistent feeling of being ignored or marginalized only exacerbates this frustration, giving rise to an atmosphere charged with tension. Public conduct is a mirror reflecting these societal issues. The once familiar Nigerian hospitality has been clouded by incidents of road rage, aggressive disputes over trivial matters, and an overall atmosphere of hostility. In markets where bargaining used to be an enjoyable experience, interactions have become fraught with impatience and anger. Instead of camaraderie, one can sense an underlying current of frustration simmering just beneath the surface. However, while anger is often viewed negatively, it can also serve as a catalyst for meaningful change. The collective anger of the Nigerian populace can be harnessed to ignite conversations about the pressing issue facing the nation. It can fuel activism, push for accountability, and demand transparency from leaders. But this requires a shift in perspective. Angry energy should transform into a collective demand for justice, equity, and representation rather than an outlet for chaos and division. To stem the tide of public discontent, a national dialogue is essential. Citizens must come together to discuss their grievances, share their experiences, and seek solutions collectively. Civil society, community leaders, and even government officials need to participate in this discussion to restore trust and faith in the system that appears to have failed the people. My verdict: while the harvest of anger seems across Nigeria today is troubling, it also represents a pivotal moment for reflection and action. The path forward lies not in succumbing to anger, but in harnessing it for constructive dialogue and transformative change. A united front against injustice and demand for better governance could indeed turn the tide, fostering a nation that values patience, understanding, and peace. I shall go to Rabbi again.
Well, interestingly, it's everywhere. Anger. People just take off at the slightest provocation. And I wonder what is going on. Sadly enough, it even, like the Chinese say that the fish gets rotten from the head. You have petulant presidential aides who are always ready to stoke trouble. We were talking of KWAM and Miss Comfort Bob. We're talking about, the ill treatment and all of that. That already settled when Daniel Bwala jumped out and started attacking Peter Obi that he will not be candidate of this, and of any of the presidential candidates. And I asked, does this guy have some atom of maturity? Or can he read the room? Does he know that there are certain times when you should just avoid certain things? Because we are coming out from a conflict situation. The efforts were being made by the same federal government, which you remember, to de-escalate. You are now stoking another conflict. Why is it that some of these people, is it that some of these people were picked? No, even if you were picked, then that means you were picked from the slum. You are picked for your nuisance value.
Yes.
Not for, and then.
But that's the reason.
Yes, now.
Then why do we, how do we now help them to elevate their thinking? Because if you are look at Renaud Mokri, who has made himself a mockery. Now today, who is listening to him? Look at the other day, this girl from the north who was said to have won a competition. Yeah. Renaud Mokri came up and said that he's investigating, that he heard that things didn't go that way. That he's investigating. Up till now, he has not brought an investigation. I lambasted one of my friends. I said,
wait.
Of the girl?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said that that after his investigation, that the girl actually won a segment of the competition, not.
I think the girl should sue him because why do you now? Yes.
Who is he? What does he do? Who hired him? Which government does he represent? But then again, right? This just shows that once the head is rotten, like you mentioned,
that is it.
The entire body is rotten. Nigerians must agree what we want in the polity, because we are people of different nations, united as one republic. Unless and until we agree, we will continue to put the worst of us into office, because we are busy arguing about the best one did not read accounting, he read law. The worst will get into office and then be known only for politicking rather than governance. Because 2 years now, come and tell me which policy, and his supporters will say he removed the fuel subsidy. Remove forex subsidy. That only those two, his predecessors did not have the wherewithal or the courage to do it. Now that he has done it, that we will see that Nigeria will start to grow. We are still waiting. Me, I said, hopefully, for all of us, because it involves all of us, hopefully Nigeria will grow.
They even jumped into Argentina that the pains, it took the man in Argentina 9 months to,
their own has taken 2 years.
No, that their own is easier. You see, people.
But Argentina,
for me, within the case, so that I don't.
They're still suffering, no.
Are we not sinking?
It's worse than us.
Nigeria is being compared today with Pakistan. That Pakistan have the lowest wage market in the world, followed by Nigeria.
Oh God!
That where you have paid the least money in the world.
Look, Nigeria is number one in many things. One in open defecation. Number one, we don't carry last.
I'm talking to you now.
So, out of two children, number two. Poverty.
Poverty capital of the world. So why do you say Argentina is suffering? Argentina is not in all these things.
When you are comparing the worst countries, Nigeria is always number one from behind. When you are comparing I listened to a pastor today who said, out of the top 10 richest pastors in the world, there are 5 Nigerian pastors.
There are more than 5.
Top 10 in the world. 5 are Nigerians. When I did the research in 2017, 4 or was it 6? I don't remember. At least the average was around between 4 and 6 Nigerian pastors were on the list of top 10 richest pastors. But when you look at the top 10 churches in the world, Nigeria is not on any.
No. So it's about individualism.
Individualism, where you create the church and then enrich yourself. The Catholic Church is the number one. It's the richest. Which one is number one?
Church of Jesus Christ. It's the Mormons.
They are the richest.
Latter-day Saints. But the Catholic Pope does not ride on private jets.
The last one led us $100. You know.
So when we do not have a country headed somewhere where all of us as citizens agree that this is what we are gearing towards, this is our
value system. Yes,
values. But look, because we are a country of different nations, the value systems are different too. Different religions, value system is different, right? That's why I keep on saying, unless and until we agree. If we stay divided in ethnicity and religion, and we put our divisions in the forefront rather than what unites us as Nigerians, because when we're outside the country, we don't see tribe. No. I mean, Nigerian, we will hurt ourselves, right? Unless and until we do that back at home and agree that this is what we want in our policy, our polity, the kind of leaders we want. It is education we want to put ahead. And so when you are telling us about your manifesto, you are not telling, oh, we will patch road, we will build road, the things that other countries have forgotten.
And here's the parallel.
When we agree, Evans, then we will put the right politicians in power. And people like Mokri, Rhino,
Dwala. Put them in prison. So you see, the parallel is this. While I talk about the anger, I'm actually specific to the demographic, even though I didn't state it expressly. You see this boiling anger in the country. It is the masses that actually bear that anger. Yeah, because if you meet rich people, you see the rich people relate to themselves.
Yeah, okay.
Rich people, when they meet themselves, they talk about the
investment.
They talk about the globe.
Travels,
investments,
bags.
Where you have the latest investment opportunity in the world, where they are going for vacation, the Bahamas. And you just hear them, and when a 1-year-old of a rich man, when they are celebrating the birthday, you see Dangote there. Dangote is not the same age with that baby.
Yep.
But he's there for the networking. He's there for what the rich have to offer.
I saw a child naming. Dangote and these big guys were there. Child naming.
But the poor people, the masses.
Davido's wedding in Miami. They said 23 private jets landed in Miami. The Americans were asking, is there an African leaders conference?
Yes, it's a conference. So when they converge,
it's anger.
They will be shouting, they will be feeling.
Do you know why?
When you go to Cape Town, that bridge, when they gather to read newspaper, those ones that cannot afford newspaper.
Free Leaders Association.
You will see how they will be arguing, you will hear their voices on the top of the
They will be defending Rhino.
And all they are doing, you see all those shouts they are shouting, they are protecting their oppressors. If you come there and say that this politician is a thief, is this, 2-3 persons will attack you, if you are not careful, they will beat you up. Because the Nigerian must protect his oppressor, must make sure one was shielded away from attack. 2 was disgracefully beaten.
And the same ordinary people.
Yes, by the same ordinary people. But these ordinary people, they're looking at 1, they were somebody to carry the flags for him. Somebody allowed him to go to beat protocol with the flags of alcohol or water.
Yes, because that's how we got it on the
yes, yeah, but that's KWAM 2. They don't carry flags.
Yeah.
She did not carry flags. Look at how she was beaten. If she had carried flags, what would happen?
They would have dragged down on the floor.
They would carry flags.
They would have torn her clothes.
So you see, the equation of the Nigerian state is this. Let the poor go and kill the poor. Let the rich remain rich and rule over the poor.
Evans, where will we become sensible?
You see, the sad thing is that we do not have citizens in Nigeria.
Oh God.
We are a nation of 250 ethnic nationalities. But the British made us to look at each other as tribesmen, as tribes. So until we get to that realization that we are a country
You take
of nations. We're a country of nations. A country of nations. Now, we need a consensus to build a country or a nation of Nigerians.
We're 111.
We cannot. No, it's not about the age. It's not about the age. Liberia is Liberia not older than us?
Oh,
it's not 1922. Where are we? Where is Liberia today?
111 years old.
No, Liberia is 1922. So what do you call that?
Yes.
It's older.
No, our amalgamation was 1914, so we are 111.
No, that was the amalgamation. The independence. The amalgamation was a business deal.
No, amalgamation was what forced us together.
She's referring to.
It's amalgamation that forced us together.
That's our marriage.
Independence. By the time we were going independent, right, we were even way more divided, because that's when civil war now happened.
Very divided.
But if they had left us as our individual 400 nations or more in 1914, the way we are friends with Ghanaians and we banter, Ghana must go, Ghana jollof and Nigeria, don't even tell me about your jollof rice. And we have no problems with Chad, Cameroon or Togo. That's how we would have been dealing as Yorubas and thieves. We would have no problem. But they amalgamated us across ethnic and religious lines. Instead of carrying people on the south, for instance, so that we have Yorubas in Togo, we have Hausas in northern Ghana. If
it was the French policy of assimilation or association that colonized us, they would have been around 6-7 countries. Yeah, that's why if you look at the Anglophone countries, Francophone countries, you see Togo, you see Ghana, you see Togo, Benin Republic, and all the
very small countries.
Small countries.
They just, spread it.
But English, they wanted a big business.
Yeah, they wanted a big business, and they wanted a sustained colony. A sustained colony that we aid. What do you call it?
Enterprise.
Yes, enterprise. It has a name. That's a name. I can't remember the name now. But that will aid that enterprise, that they will keep exploiting, from our economy, our raw materials, and all we have to their space.
All right, so I think I would love to conclude by saying this. There's this animation kids film called Red, and in one of the scenes, Red was a very stubborn bird, and after he passed through lots of training, he was still very angry. And one of the judges told him that anger is the weed growing in our backyards. And what do we do with those weeds? We plug them out, right? Now the question is, how much of that plugging have we done as a people, and equally for the leaders that we look up to? Yesterday I was watching a viral video of an Afghan former military officer who was brought into the United States because he was an interpreter during the Afghan US invasion of the US to Afghan. Now, on getting to the United States, the man was angry. Why was he angry? That the United States deceived him, bringing him to the United States, and he has no work, he has no job. And in the process of that, he now killed a police officer because he had no job. Right? So sometimes the policies of those in power sometimes lead to some of this anger that we have. Because if the policy of bringing an interpreter, giving him free opportunity to come to the United States, which he wasn't even interested in, he wouldn't have killed an innocent police officer who was just walking about his own thing. Right? So sometimes the policies that we bring, especially our leaders, the devaluation of the naira, the floating of the naira, the subsidy is gone.
It sparks anger.
It has a way of igniting that anger in the lives of people. When someone can't pay his school fees any longer, young girls are beginning to do hookup now. There are Bado and so many other apps now that are easier for them to get into. So all of those things brew that anger that I think it will take time actually for us to reduce it and possibly quench it.
Very well. And that's where we'll leave it for today on the Middlemen of Jurors. Remember, if we don't speak up, we just be in the background of noise in the symphony of silence. Join the conversation on all our social media handles at Enterprise TV 7. Until we meet next time, Stay safe, stay informed, and bye-bye.
Middlemen. Middlemen.